Hello and welcome to Festool TV. My name is Frank. In this episode, we'll be discussing routing a groove which isn't parallel to an edge but runs across the workpiece. The guide rail would be very useful for this. For this task, I'm also going to use the small OF 1010 router. Firstly, I'll need the guide rail. I'll also need the adaptation from the router. To do this, I've got this small part, the adapter plate, which is placed here. The adapter plate moves on the guide rail. You should ensure that the adapter plate is set up without play. I can use the small screws at the side to adjust the adapter plate so that it runs on the guide rail without play. I'm just opening it slightly. If it wobbles like this, there's too much play. I can use this screw to reduce play until the adapter plate moves without play. Needless to say, it shouldn't jam. If the plate's like this, then that's perfect. Of course, the adapter plate must also be adapted to the router. We've got two metal rods for this. I'll put them on and fasten them. Now it's time to use the machine. We'll push it together. I've now adapted the machine in a very similar way to when using the parallel side fence. There's always the question of where the machine should be positioned. There's a green sliding strip on the guide rail, and I always check that the router is on the green riding strip. This means that there's always enough space to ensure you don't route into the guide rail. It's important to note that the splinter guard I use with circular saws is not needed with routers. The splinter guard is only used with circular saws. It's all, of course, a bit wobbly, even in this position, which is why I use my clamps. This makes it convenient to position and align my guide rail to the angle I'd like on the workpiece. I can also specify the precise position using my center mark. I can also specify the precise position using my center mark, which indicates precisely where the center of the router is. I fitted an 18mm groove cutter, which I'll use to route a small groove. What's challenging is that we only want to route up to a certain point and not all the way through. As you can see, the setup is not very comfortable. So we'll attach a small support foot, which is fitted at the side. I can use the support foot to adjust the position of the router to the same level as the guide rail. The support foot has a scale at the side. I can now individually mark positions. Here's the 0 point. I can add or subtract the radius as required. I'll just make a mark at 0, so I'll know when I'm supposed to stop. Everything's been set up now. We're just missing the routing depth. How far should I route into the material? We'll proceed as follows. I'll loosen the clamping screw at the front here. I'll push it down until it's touching the material and lock it there. The cutter is now on the surface of the material, which is the 0 point. We'll apply this to our stop system, pushing it down onto our turret stop. When I now push it up, I can see on the scale when it is at 8mm. So far so good. We can now start routing. I'll just connect the 27mm suction hose and we can get started. you can see how well it has routed the groove in the workpiece. It goes without saying that I can use the guide rail in other positions. It's an excellent option if you don't have any direct edges and therefore can't use the parallel side fence. Just another small thing to consider. If you want to only move the machine minimally to the left or to the right, there's an accessory for that, a fine adjuster. This is what it looks like. At the side, there's a small green wheel with numbers on it. This means that for each number on the scale, I can adjust by 1/10 of a millimeter. Position the fine adjuster here. I'll secure it with a screw. We'll secure it over here too. We can loosen the machine on the other side. You can see that when I turn it here, the position is very finely adjusted. This will also allow me to route again and correct the groove if required. I think it's a good aid for carrying out fine work with the OF1010 router and the guide rail. I hope you enjoyed this video about this kind of routing work. I look forward to seeing you again. I'm Frank. Thanks for watching. See you next time.